All right. So, tuning in with my own personal exploration and journey in the last half year, and also to speak a bit about the offerings that I have coming up. But first, I want to just tune in and say, I know that the world is painted very much in our experiences. So, what I feel internally is what I see externally. And so many of us are going through different chapters and phases of life. Yet, I find those of us that tune into each other, if we are following each other, if we are connecting in some sense, then we are probably on a very likely journey together that is quite similar. And I don't know how many of you are feeling it, but I know many people are speaking to me about it. There is a big shift. There is a big shift occurring, and in the world, in the way that we relate, in our consciousness, in the way that we are approaching relationships, the way that we are approaching our connection to ourselves. It is not uniquely individual. I think many of us feel that over the past few years since the pandemic that we have had breakdowns, we have had breakups, we have had breakthroughs, our lives have changed significantly. And I know for myself that in the last 6 months, I have entered, and I know some of you have seen some of the posts that I have shared. It feels as if I've entered yet another purification, like portal, a death portal of just the metaphysical, of something in me, of my way of relating, of my way of thinking about myself, my way of thinking about relating has shifted dramatically. And it has been incredibly uncomfortable. It has been challenging. It has been lonely. It has been painful. And I know that what we see here shared, and for so many of us, and I know for myself, we get these beautiful moments of joy. We get the breakthrough. We get to see what has happened on the other side of the darkness. But in the darkness, we are at home, like hiding beneath our covers. We are alone for weeks at a time, going off into the forest or to the ocean to meet ourselves and to go somewhere deeply and profoundly internal that we can't take anyone else with on that journey. And so, what I'm wanting to share here is, yeah, the vulnerability and the courage to still show up, to remain, to participate, to add your affect to the pool of affects, and to participate in the human experience, and to spend time with each other, and to try again and again and again, even when it's incredulously painful. And what I'm feeling more and more and more of for myself as I'm on tour teaching, and as I'm playing music, and as I am now producing and creating music and collaborating with people that inspire me and that teach me and that show me the way in many ways, is to speak more about and to be more in what it is that I have to offer. And, we are all students of life on the path together. And I truly don't believe in the hierarchy or the guru or the spiritual teacher that is here for you to lean on and for you to be dependent on. But some of us, when we enter the path, and if we are on it as well, if you're tuning in, then more than likely you're also on it. Some of us just have gained tools and resources along the way that maybe you haven't found yet. And that isn't to have any hierarchy or to be the teacher, but just to be a friend on the path, to say, hey, I've been to the battlefield. Like, I've been in the darkness. I have been beneath the covers. I have hidden away from the world. And here are the things that helped me to resource myself when everything else seemed undeniably futile. So, that being said, I really feel firm now, as firm as I can be, as we're adapting consistently to, I heard this phrase the other day that another teacher used, and I really wish I knew who the reference was so that I can give her gratitude. But she called herself a companion at the threshold. That's how she referred to herself. I am a companion at the threshold. And I also want to stand in line with that of I want to be here as an ally at the threshold when the resources are sparse and we feel that we can't journey into the battlefield on our own anymore, that we need help. And that doesn't mean dependence, but it just means, hey, brother, hey, sister, like I need support, I need empathy, I need love, I need to be seen, I need something because my energy is wavering right now and I need a friend. So that is what I hope my programs and the things that I do offer can be, like the offerings that I do have. And so I do want to speak to some things that are coming up that can be helpful on the path if you feel that you are at that threshold, or if you're needing a container and a space to connect with other people from around the world to go into these more challenging aspects of life and to see your part in them, to see your accountability for the nature of your own experience, to find empowerment and grace in dealing with some of the harder aspects of the work. You know, really on this path, I feel more and more the work that I am doing is as close to shadow work as you can get. You know, we are navigating the underworld of the darker aspects, the corners of our human experience, and how to dredge ourselves up from that space and still remain light, still be able to hold the density, but to feel the light and to know that whatever we're experiencing is temporary, and temporary might be long. You know, temporary might be days, it might be years, but there is always choice, to remind ourselves, to remind you that there's choice. So if you are interested in that companionship, and that's not just with me, but that's with the online community that I have around me, from the students to the assistants to the other teachers that I work with, there is so much wisdom in these human beings, and we gather together in spaces of safe containment as much as we can to offer non-judgmental spaces to dive into the harder aspects of the human experience. So upcoming in the fall, I have the twice yearly program that I run, which is called Detangling the Human Heart. And Detangling the Human Heart comes from years and years and years of my own unsuccessful attempts to relate with myself and with others in an unhealthy way. And this container, the practices, the resourcing are all around how to navigate communicating in healthier ways, how to discern your attachment style, how to understand the emotional roadmap of your own nervous system, how to really communicate to those around you and to yourself what your needs are, what your boundaries are, so that you aren't confused, so that those around you aren't confused, and so that you can learn to build a bridge in your relationships instead of burning it down, which tends to happen in relationships when we don't know what we want, when we don't know what we're scared of, when we don't know what we are battling, essentially. So, Detangling the Human Heart is coming up in September. And in August, so Detangling the Human Heart is a full month. So you'll have a live with me per week, and then you'll have pre-recorded material, meditations, yoga practices, dance meditations, art therapy, different processing to work with the somatic body, with the cognitive mind, with the heart, with the energetic body. So moving through all planes of the physical and the energetic. There is also going to be on August the 30th a 3-hour workshop on Zoom. And this is called Dangerous to Devoted. So that's about, again, learning your relational attachment style. It's about learning your coping mechanisms so that you can convey that in a healthy way to others around you, so that your external world becomes a mirror image of the internal, but in a healthier and more secure way. So August 30th is the 3-hour Zoom workshop online. All of September will be Detangling the Human Heart for those of you wanting to dive deeper. And at the end of the year, I am so excited to announce that finally We're going back in person for part of the yoga teacher training. So for those of you that are wanting to not necessarily become yoga teachers, but to take a 4-month long deep dive into yogic principles, meditation, nervous system regulation, trauma-informed work, and working with developmental trauma in yourself and in your mind, your heart, your body. This program will be 3 months online starting January, so January, February, and March of next year. And then we will meet for 2 weeks in Japan, which I'm super excited about for an intensive. So there are still spaces on this one. This one is filling up, but there are still spaces. And many people do this program simply for themselves. You will get a 200-hour certification at the end of the program if you desire to teach internationally, but you absolutely do not have to. It can be just for you, and I really encourage us to do many teacher trainings like this because we dive deep into yogic philosophy and sadhana, which is the daily spiritual practice, and understanding the importance of this practice for yourself, for your own psychological well-being, for your own physical well-being, and creating a daily routine that drops you deeper into yourself and that makes you proud of how you show up for yourself. It makes you proud of how you show up in the world, and it assists you in finding your own purpose, your dharma, your path. And so these months, they're not easy. We open up big spaces internally, but you have a community. You have myself, you have my 2 guest teachers, you have 2 assistant mentors, and you have the international group of students that will be attending. So I really encourage you, if you stayed this long and watched this video, to tune in with yourself and to know if now is the time for you to do work, and to do it for yourself, not because someone tells you to do it or that it's a good program or that it will be helpful, but that you feel drawn to doing deeper work with yourself, to know yourself more, to love yourself more, to become more sovereign, and to embody not just independence, but like deep sovereignty. And like, I love being me. I love the nature of my experience. I love who I am in the world. I love who I am in myself. I love what I bring to the table. And that self-love is going to be the thing that carries you through all of the global shifts, because what we're going through is not easy, and we can lean on one another. But this battlefield, this energetic battlefield of changing paradigms and shifting, it starts from right here in that journey of self-love. And so I encourage you to tune in and ask me questions, reach out for resources. I also am on Insight Timer leading lots of free meditations and talks. So if you want to add me in all the places, also on YouTube, there are hundreds of free yoga videos there for those of you needing to step into your body a bit more daily, which we all need. Go do the free yoga, do the free meditations, do the free breath work. Use these resources to come home to yourself. And I hope to see you again.